welcome back. The show is still Morning Ride on NTA2, Victoria Island, Lagos. All right, now we have our guest in the studio, and this is our discussion segment. As 2027 draws nearer, the political chessboard is already eating up. One thing is very clear. The season of realignment has just begun. Old friends are becoming foes, rivals are mending fences, and party structures are being shaken to their core. Just this year, we've seen high-profile defections, governors, lawmakers, and party chieftains switching allegiance in what many call a survival strategy. But beyond ambition, what does this mean for Nigeria's democracy? Are these defections driven by ideology, or is it all about political opportunity? And what about the growing calls for coalition parties? Could a third force finally emerge strong enough to challenge the old guard? All right, so this morning we are saying whether you are a political observer, a party loyalist, or a hopeful voter in 2027, do not blink, because it's in the right place to say the Game of Thrones has just begun, and 2027 is closer than we think. On the show right now, we'll be discussing waves of defection and opposition coalition ahead 2027. We have guests in the studio. They're going to deal with this topic. They are political analysts, and they will tell us, and all the things we have been seeing and all over the screen. We're going to be discussing it this morning. They will give us their own points of view, and let's see what a little glimpse into what 2027 will look like. But before we unveil our guests, let's see what their profile frame looks like. with us, and when we would discuss things like this, we would like to have opinion from several angles. We like to have opinions from here and there, not just a single opinion. Like I said before we went on break, it's all about waves of defection and opposition coalition ahead 2027. And in the studio, like you have seen from the profile frame, we have an in-house person. It's always here all the time for us to discuss issues like this. Bolanle Bolawole is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, sir. Good to have you on the show again.
Good morning, my sisters. Good morning, my fellow brother here.
Thank you very much.
I'm happy to be here.
Okay, and also with us we have also a friend. Is a convener of Campaign for Dignity in Governance, and is also a political science expert, security and management consultant, and also a public affairs analyst. Razak Olokoba.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you. I've always, you've always been romancing other media stations, seeing you. Today we hijacked you to come here, to come and share from your wealth of knowledge.
It's good to be here.
It's good to be here. You see, now let's start from here. We're talking about the waves of defection here and there, and it's beginning to look like it's a norm now. Yeah. That every time we want to have elections, we have defections here, we have defections there, and somehow we begin to have coalition here and there. We have people like in 2023, we had Peter Obi moved from PDP to Labour Party, and now we're seeing him, joining forces with the likes of David Mark, El Rufai, and the former Vice President Atiku, to form the ADC, that's the African Democratic Congress. What is your opinion? Let's just start from there. What's your take on all of this?
Thank you very much. It's because of our lack of history that we think that coalitions and defections are new phenomena. They are not. It is as old as politics had been in this country. In the First Republic, even before the First Republic, when we started having self-government in the regions in 1954 and all that, we've had defections. We've had people who belong, for instance, we had people who were members of Action Group who belonged to Chief Obafemi Awolowo's political party, who defected from him and went elsewhere. We are talking about somebody like Chief F.R.A. Williams. We're talking about somebody like Chief Anthony Nahoro, the man who moved independence. Now, he used to be a member of AG. He used to be even a minister under Awolowo's Western Region government. But along the line, they defected. People like Akinjide and all the others. So there had been defections. And when you talk about crossing carpet, it also started far back then when we had this issue at the Western Regional House of Assembly, where the NCNC, led by Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, thought it had won the election and Azikiwe was supposed to be the premier. But on the day of election, on the floor of the House, the Action Group took the shine off Azikiwe. They had more members. In those days, because it was a parliamentary system, you had to be in the House and the party with the majority will vote. And some people were said to have crossed carpet. There was some minor political parties switched allegiance and went on the side of AG instead of NCNC. And that was how Olokoba became the first premier of Western Nigeria, you see. So defections and alliances, they have been as old as politics in this country. We have seen the alliance of AG with NEPU, of Aminu Kano. We have seen the middle belt of what's the name of this man, Taka, and all other things like that. And we have seen the NCSC and MPC. So there have always been alliances. It's only that some years back, in 2015, we had a new set of politicians who now came up with a new way of forming their coalition. Instead of a party now say, okay, let us agree, they now decided to come together, to merge, to forget their individual identities, and then merge under one single identity, which was the APC. That was what we saw in 2015 that made it possible for them to be able to come and upstage the PDP that I thought it was going to rule for 60 years. So now we are seeing another coalition coming together. Let us see whether they are going to toe the line of APC, whether each and every one of them will jettison the political parties where they are coming from, and then they will now be under this new party. Let us see whether they will be able to come together and stay together and stick together and work together and win together or lose together.
Okay, let's take it from there, Razak. He talked about, let's see what this coalition is going to be all about. In the past, we've seen coalition as a good opposition, and they have really come out to be. What do you take of this particular one? And because of the trend these days, would you say that there are lots of some sort of no ideological reasoning anymore? Is it just because pressure for power, pressure for positions? And do you see Nigerians seeing it as something different or still same of same?
What has happened in the past and now is not good for our democracy. Okay. When my colleagues just brushed up our memory with what has happened in the past, a period of consolidation. We're new to democracy, just give us the government, and it happens all over the world. Then you decide your path. That this is the path we want to do henceforth. But when it became a recording decimal for a nation, it diminishes your democracy. What strengthens good governance is first, you must have a valid political party. When your political party is doing well, and the pressure group is also doing what it's supposed to be doing, it portends something good for your democracy. And it's your democracy that defines for you whether there's going to be good governance or not. In our own case, the political parties are not doing well at all. In your intro, you said no ideology. You see, you can't see the example or the model we are established in Nigeria anywhere in the world. It's not anywhere in the world. And that's why day in, day out, we endanger our democracy. We can't go anywhere with this tie. There's no how you can bring about what is called good governance, because it is your party that will decide the model of governance you want to come up with, which is an ideology. Take for instance in America today, it's difficult for a Republican to become a Democrat. There are sharp divide. Their way of life is what is their manifesto. Republicans believe that if a thief comes to my house, there should be funeral on both sides. I must have access to gun to defend myself. Democrats say no. So this line of thought, you can't acquire it overnight. It's a divide. The welfare package of the Democrat is there till tomorrow. People who have acquire this kind of view will say that all fingers are not equal. Well, the Republicans are saying that no, I can't work for you, able-bodied, under what guise? So their style of reaching out to the poor differs. So this kind of you cannot acquire it overnight. Coming to Britain, go all over the world, even in African country. It's only here that you see people that don't have any ideological divide. We have something very close to it when Tinubu had his manifesto before he became the president. But it's something very close. That manifesto, what he seems to be doing now is embedded in his manifesto. But as at the time they were, we had that cross carpeting. They were political and ideological divide that time. They were guided by ideology. Enoro, we were close to Enoro. During the Pronaco session, and as an activist, you'll be close to one of these shining lights. And one of the things he said was that the person he contested the election with campaigned with limousine, and he campaigned with a bicycle. But the people were not stupid. They studied the manifesto of Enahoro, studied the manifesto of his opponent, and he knew that what guarantees their future is for Enahoro to be there. And he came out to play when he moved the motion for independence. I was sitting right behind him when he moved that motion. So what is happening today to our democracy is not good for us at all. And in unison, we have to condemn it. The picture then.
Let me hold you your thought.
The picture then, quickly, the picture then.
Okay.
Because politicians has a way of deceiving themselves, thinking that they can always do abracadabra. What brought about that coalition that worked against Jonathan that time? The condition is not present now. Jonathan was going for, by the definition of the North, third time. And they said they don't want it. That in actual fact, this mandate does not even belong to you. So the question of rotation, which is in the memory of every Nigerian, in the mind of every Nigerian, that North and South. So many people from even the South felt that it is a betrayal of that arrangement. So that condition enough has mobilized against Jonathan. So it gave the North a rallying point. That thing gave a point. So all of them rallied against Jonathan that time, and it worked. The second thing is that APC and PDP that time had a major challenge with each other. Crack were visible everywhere in APC that time. And it appears to Nigerians at that time that there must be change. We just want something new. Maybe they have tried, state police is not there, the structure is not there. But now it's not the case.
So you're trying to say
that
now
has a clear understanding of what Nigerian politics is.
That's why
and there's agreement of rotation.
Hold your line of
already.
I want to go to
North and South. So many northern leaders will know that it is his time. We'll let him complete his 4 years.
Let me go to Mr.
So it's
Mr.
not the condition is completely different.
Let me come to you.
One is different.
You are of the opinion
Are you saying that it is baseless or it is different?
No, what I'm saying, the condition that
this
made the coalition work that time.
Now.
The condition that made it work that time. The condition that time was what made it possible for them to unseat Jonathan. But that condition that made them unseat it's not around now.
So now you're now saying that this coalition now is baseless.
It's baseless. You can't work.
Okay. You are saying that you somehow you are saying that it's same of same, but you are of the opinion that well, this ever been the trend right from democracy, and it's been all over. You do not see it as a marriage of convenience. You don't agree with what he's saying?
Yes,
because he's saying it's a marriage of convenience, right?
Yes, I partially agree that the circumstances that brought about APC and that led to its success are not exactly what we have at the moment. If anyone thinks that because there was a coalition and that the coalition worked, therefore we will do a coalition and the coalition it will work as well, they may be fooling themselves, because they have to look at the objective and the subjective conditions, like he has tried to say, he has said. Having said that, that is not to totally rule out the possibility of this coalition achieving success if the right thing is done. And if the wrong thing is done at the other end, if the APC continues to do the wrong thing that they have started to do now, if they continue to give undue publicity to the coalition, if they now leave governance and they are running after this coalition, trying to tar them with this brush, tar them with that brush, by the time you are doing that, they're going to have what we call the Boer syndrome. That was the Boer syndrome in South Africa, where they made laws that said that nobody must talk about the ANC, nobody must mention Nelson Mandela. So, and any mention, you go to jail. So what happened was that ANC now resorted to violence. they bomb this petrol station tomorrow, today, they derail this trade tomorrow. So who derailed this something? Oh, the terrorist group, ANC. Okay. So you indirectly, you started giving them publicity. So ANC, APC
and
has started...
And the public sympathy also.
Public sympathy, because people will begin to say, what is the problem? Why are you after these people? There must be something in it. So I think that it is possible for the coalition to succeed if the APC does not do the right thing.
Okay.
And if the coalition people can also let the people see that they have something to offer. Because at the moment, what you see about all of them is that they have bag and baggages.
Okay, we want to just take a little breather right now. The conversation is getting more interesting. I'm going to ask you when we return if, you know, from your own line of thought, can't it be done pari passu? But hold your thoughts there. We want to go on a very short break. When we return, I guess they are still here with us in the studio and the conversation will continue. Honestly, welcome back. You would agree with us that the conversation is getting more interesting, and I tell you, we should talk about this so that the voters, Nigerians will know where they stand and make their mind, make a decision on what they want to do come 2027. So I asked you before we went on the break, both of you, is it that cannot be done pari passu, governance and politicking?
It goes together. But you can't major in minor. You can't give too much attention to politics. And you forget governance. And that is the character of the political class. If someone is in power today, opposition will drag him to politics. Issues that should be a question of unity. For instance, this question of security. You start blaming the people in government. And we all know that there is no guarantee of security in Nigeria if we continue this security architecture, where we think the president and the IG should secure 250 million Nigerians. We all know. So instead of pointing the direction of government in the right direction, that there must be devolution of power and security. The state must be assigned responsibility. You keep blaming the president. So, and the president will also play the politics bat with you. So everything becomes politics. You see, your image, your foreign policy, the success is determined by how you run your country. We have not attained consolidation in Nigeria. And the universal agreed definition of consolidation means that a party must be in power. Another party must take over from it. The previous party must also take over. That's a complete circle of consolidation. That is why the rest of the world will trust you. You can have trade agreement, you can do a exchange program, loan program, the sukuk will come, all sorts of things. It's only Ghana that has been able to do that in the whole of West Africa. We are at the second stage where the opposition has taken over. No matter how long APC stays, maybe 30, 40, 50 years, to complete the circle, and that's democracy. See, the rest of the world will run away from the model you are establishing. You can't have a Rufai, Atiku, Amechi, Raouf, on ADC. And you say people should not see you as a comic, as a nation. So we have to be courageous enough to tell them what they are doing is not correct. If you don't run their parties, I'm not a member of any political party. I have sympathy, very strong sympathy for APC because they said what I've lived my life for. I've been doing this for 36 of my life since 1989. I want to restructure Nigeria. So it seems to me that APC is interested in that. That's why I have that sympathy for them. But all of them are not doing well. No ideology, no clear-cut ideology. Tomorrow, if PDP should become the incumbent party, APC will do the same thing again. They will start living in drone. So it's our duty as a people to tell them that you can't be running our life like this. If you are running your business as who says anything, but if you want to run political party, I must pick interest because it's from political party that will have councillor, assembly, governor, and president. So if you are mismanaging a political party, you must talk. That's the education we have for the young people. Now don't keep quiet too. At this moment, it's time for you to talk. Don't over-entertainment. You can walk, rest, and play. But if it is Arsenal, and you don't know that Arsenal you are watching has a link to the reason why you don't have a job, you are not seeing what you are saying. Anger is the ingredient of revolution. I'm not saying armed revolution. I'm talking about a revolt for a system that is bad. We should be discussing this topic, but go and listen to all our radios this morning. He's discussing somebody's call one go. I'm not saying we should not be discussing, but we have fundamental issue ahead of us. Someone is about to take decision how our life will run in the next 4 years. And we are not paying attention to it. It's a serious matter. And like you have said, APC should be very careful. They should be very careful. That was how PDP got careless with power too. I don't see them ADC winning. I don't see them taking power from them. I didn't know that APC will ever take power from PDP. But they got careless. Why can't they allow them to go for another 4 years? And then you will have done this 4 years now. They will be back in power if they are really running. But they became careless. They thought they can just do anything and people will still vote for them. But people got tired of them. So APC should also be very, very careful. And that's why Nigeria must be watchful, must be at alert. If anything perchance ADC becomes the incumbent party, we are in trouble. Because look at the people who appear to be a serious politician, people who know that they are never serious in their life with their political life. People who are semi-serious, people who don't know whether they are serious or not serious. They are in the same party together. And you say we should not be scared.
So you're saying this coalition is like a dustbin?
No,
So it's scary.
That it's baseless.
It's
but,
very, very
scary.
scary.
I want to the school of thought that each and every one of us here have our own opinions.
Yeah.
You're making it sound like it's your own personal opinion, because if you ask somebody else has another opinion.
There are issues
but
that are
the
universal.
truth is, yeah, I know,
There are things that are
of course, I
universal.
know they are universal. But
You are a
over
female.
time,
You are a female. Either you like it or not. I'm a male.
okay, so I'm looking at it from the female angle. Is that what
No,
you
what that
are
means
saying?
that there are things that are universal.
He's trying to make
There
an
are certain
analogy.
things that it doesn't call for debate. It's only here part of that and you will agree with me that he has painted. I can't disagree with what he has said, that they need to be careful. It's a universal analysis that every reasonable person must accept, that they need to be careful.
Okay.
This coalition, the definition of political party is brought together by program, people who identify with ideologies. It's not a tea party. What I'm saying is that
Okay, let's
you
hold
can't
you.
identify them.
Let's hold you
with
a minute.
I'm a political scientist.
Let's hold you a
You can't
minute.
identify with an ideology.
The energy is growing
Okay.
past.
There's no energy.
Mr. Razak, hold on a
there's no
minute.
ideology
I
in the
think
party.
Fumi was coming up with a question for you. Let's hear what he has.
Actually, because he said that when it comes to coalition, it's because we didn't understand history. It has been there. Now, what is most of the time responsible? Like, must there be a defection? What is most of the time responsible for that? And sir, why is it impossible for why is continuity very impossible? Because you talked about, okay, let us leave politics, let's go talk about governance. But you discover that because you are APC and because I'm PDP, I'm coming from a place of this is what I think Nigeria should look like. Then I come there and I say this is how I want it to look like. And then because the next party enters the next time and they are saying no, this is how it should look like. And even if it is something that everybody has seen that this idea is working, but somebody comes from another party and says no, this is how I want it to look like. And because of that, we have issues with continuity. We have issues with even some things that we see that, oh, this thing is good. Why can't we, like YK said, why can't there be something that at the end of the day everybody is on the same page? Because if you say it's about governance, why are you so interested in your own personal or what you think it should be when the
taking over the power?
The only other person is saying this is how it should be.
So my question to you is in simple terms: must there be defections? Must there be defections?
Yes, you see, let me tell you what a former governor told me.
Okay.
I read political science, and I'm still reading political science, though I'm a journalist. We were discussing, and this governor, he was governor, then said, I said politics is the art of science of serving the people. He said, no, sir. He said that politics you have described, the politics you learned in the university.
Okay.
He said the politics we are playing is the politics of the street, politics of the borough. Only it is not a policy, it's not that of service to the people, it's a game of self-interest. He said I came into politics to advance my own self-interest. He said if the people benefit from it along the line, so be it. He said, but it is my own interest. He said, who asked me to come? Who helped me to finance the election? who knew how I found my
campaigns
way
and
and things like that. He said, so politics is a game of self-interest. You will discover that if you ask many of our politicians, that is their own understanding of politics, their own self-interest. It is not service to the people in the real sense of the word. The definition of political party is the coming together of like minds to pursue shared objectives and goals. That is the definition of political parties. The minimum, if you read Apadora, A Substance of Politics, or any of them, that's what they will tell you about definition of politics or political parties. But it is not like that here. Here, political parties are just vehicles for you to attain your own self-interest, self-objectives. So it's a vehicle, you are riding a vehicle, it breaks down on the road, or you find that this vehicle cannot take you to where you are going. You go.
You just quickly switch.
That is what the Akwa Ibom
You don't even want to see if you can repair the vehicle or
That's
something.
what the Akwa Ibom State governor told us recently before he defected. He said if you are traveling and the plane is not going to travel, or the plane breaks down, you hop into another plane and get to. He said the important thing is for you to get to your destination. So that is why they are defecting. And like my colleague said, because they lack ideology, they lack principles. So you look at all those who are moving from one party to the other, they belong to the same capitalist class. They belong to the same oppressor class. There is none of them that have genuine workers' interest, or that their political party or their political manifesto is socialist based, like we had in the First Republic, when we had parties that were socialist leaning, they are welfarist leaning, and we have parties that were capitalist leaning. But now we don't have any party that is leftist. The last effort we had in that direction was the one made by Ibrahim Babangida when he was military head of state, when he had this a little to the left, a little to the right, SDP and NRC. Now look at all the political parties, even the APC. Is it left-leaning? What policies of the APC tells you that it is left-leaning? What policies of the PDP tells you that it is left-leaning? All of them are a conglomeration of parties that have capitalist ideology.
Same of same.
Yeah, same of same.
All right, Mr. Bolanle, thank you. Because of our time is fast spent, let me just ask a question for the voters out there. Fumi, you want to say something?
No, like, you need to, like, tell us why, what should we do for continuity's sake?
Okay. And while you are answering that question, because we have limited time, what should we do for continuity's sake? And also my question now is, with all this coalition forming, what should voters be looking out for to avoid misled or recycled promises and alliances like we've had all over? So what should they be looking out for? So you answered those two questions.
It's a 24-hour question answer, but I'll summarize it. Just like what he has said. But I want to quickly add to it that the even fear and concern I have for political classes that, of course, they can comprado bourgeoisie, commission agents of the capitalists. But in nature, they are not even capitalists. This is not how to run a capitalist economy. A capitalist is not run in this manner. You design a model where people's welfare should be uppermost in your mind, so that they won't even have time to think about who is the president.
What you do?
But tell me one program that they are committed to. Nothing. Education, security, nothing. And how do we go out of where we are today? Is institution.
Okay.
We must strengthen our institution. When we say institutions are weak, the definition is that the political class has an overbearing influence on our apparatus. For instance, the president will vote, and it's going to be the president who will appoint the chairman of INEC. It's wrong. The security of a nation, if you want them to do your duty, let them go to rank and file. Even the judiciary. The judiciary is an independent entity. Whereas where we find ourselves today is where the executive have an overbearing influence on all other arms of government. So, in essence, what we are saying is that every Nigerian needs to remind Mr. President that he has 2 years to go. That it was with us. He took Okada in the night to come and join us in our protest. I knew him in 1992, met him officially in 1994. So he can't claim not to understand the point we are making.
Yeah.
So it's been
But
there.
he can miss the point.
So it's been there. That's
But
what
he can miss the point
if
my colleague, you and Nigerians don't remind him that I met Jonathan 21 times, I'm saying it on here. There's no time I will meet President Jonathan that I will not try to remind him of what is in the dailies. He didn't know. And that's the picture for every Nigerian president, including Mr. President today. So
Always miss.
someone slept 4 a.m. yesterday night. He woke up 7 a.m. It's difficult to say that he's lazy. So there's that impression that I am working. I am working until we become assertive. That Mr. President, the effect of the work we are doing can never show. What do you want to achieve with this structure? What attempt as the people before you have not done? And you have faith in this structure, you think you can give us security with this security architecture. There can be light. National grid kept collapsing, and you didn't have the state to pick up the mandate to generate light, and all areas of our life like that. So for us as a people, what we should insist on is to strengthen our institution. The president must give the governors a marching order. You collect money from Abuja, and I'm working. Say I'm brilliant. What is brilliant about spending money that's being made for me? Yesterday we were at the constitutional review. We met there, and if you see the demand there, and I get scared. Even in Southwest, I came to present the position of the Southwest. I'm the spokesperson for Southwest Assembly. I couldn't present it. The Obas in Yoruba, they had 4 positions, and people kept talking about more state. And what determines your constitution? It's not your state of mind. It's your political culture. In Nigeria, our political culture indicates that we can't have a country where power resides at the center. There must be devolution of power. We want to be ruled by our own ideas. States. I'm part of the creation of Amatekun with the governors. That should be the picture in all the regions. And yesterday, we were very far away from what should be our peculiar kind of constitution, which is not a constitution that looks like an American constitution, which is about one culture, Christian, white, one people, different from British, one Scottish, Welsh, and they became the United Kingdom. That's the picture we should be having in Nigeria, that there must be a weak center. So in our resolve, in our demand from the president, it should remain focused that there is no guarantee of prosperity. What God has not done for Muhammad and Christ, He can't do it for us in Nigeria.
Oh my God! I think that's a good place to wrap this up.
To rework the constitution, rework the structure, and rework the institution in Nigeria. If you want it to work, the parties will do the needful if it is totally independent.
Okay.
The police will do its
Mr.
work.
Razak.
Everything will fall in place.
Thank you very much.
With the structure of Nigeria.
This is definitely an ongoing discussion. It's something we cannot just wrap up in just one episode. And I'm sure that we'll keep talking about this as events unfold and things continue to happen. And we keep having you on the show to bring your intelligent ideas and opinion, to our viewers. Thank you very much. We've been discussing this morning about waves of defection and opposition, coalition ahead 2027. And our guests in the studio, we've had Mr. Bolawole. He's a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for heeding our call. We appreciate you.
It's my pleasure to be here. Let me just say that we should restructure the country. Like I said, everybody, let's go back to 1960 Constitution, where you have the regions.
Okay.
And where everybody
maybe we'll come back and talk about restructuring.
Yes.
And also we have had with us Razak Olokoba. He's a convener campaign for dignity in governance, and he's also a political science expert, security and management consultant. Thank you for being our guest this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we will take a short break. When we return, the show continues. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back.